In the first year of the reign of Cyrus I, which was the 70th from the day that our people were removed out of their own land into Babylon, God commiserated the captivity and calamity of these poor people according as he had foretold to them by Jeremiah the prophet before the destruction of the city, that after they had served Nebuchadnezzar and his posterity, and after they had undergone that servitude 70 years, he would restore them again to the land of their fathers, and they should build their temple and enjoy their ancient prosperity. In these things God did afford them, for the stirred up the mind of Cyrus and made him write this throughout the these things God did afford them, for the stirred up the mind of Cyrus and made him write this throughout all Asia. Thus saith Cyrus the king, since God Almighty hath appointed me to be king of the habitable earth, I believe that he is that God which the nation of the Israelites worship. For indeed he foretold my name by the prophets, and that I should build him a house at Jerusalem, in the country of Judea. This was known to Cyrus by his reading the book which Isaiah left behind him of his prophecies, for this prophet said that God had spoken thus to him in a secret vision. My will is that Cyrus, whom I have appointed to be king over many and great nations, send back my people to their own land and build my temple. This was foretold by Isaiah 140 years before the temple was demolished. Accordingly, when Cyrus read this and admired the divine power and earnest desire and ambition seized upon him to fulfill what was so written, so he called for the most eminent Jews that were in Babylon and said to them that he gave them leave to go back to their own country and to rebuild their city Jerusalem and the temple of God, for that he would be their assistant, and that he would write to the rulers and governors that were in the neighborhood of their country of Judea, that they should contribute to them gold and silver for the building of the temple, and besides that, beasts for their sacrifices. When Cyrus had said this to the Israelites, the rulers of the two tribes of Judah and Benjamin, with the Levites and priests, went in haste to Jerusalem, yet did many of them stay at Babylon, as not willing to leave their possessions. And when they were come thither, all the king's friends assisted them and brought in for the building of the temple some gold and some silver and some a great many cattle and horses. So they performed their vows to God and offered the sacrifices that had been accustomed of old time. I mean this upon the rebuilding of their city and the revival of the ancient practices relating to their worship. Cyrus also sent back to them the vessel of God, which King Nebuchadnezzar had pillaged out of the temple and had carried to Babylon. So he committed these things to Mithridates, the treasurer, to be sent away with an order to give them to Sonabasar, that he might keep them till the temple was built. And when it was finished, he might deliver them to the priests and rulers of the multitude in order to their being restored to the temple. Cyrus also sent an epistle the governors that were in Syria, the contest whereof here follow. King Cyrus to Sicinians and Satrabuzans sendeth greeting. I have given leave to as many of the Jews that dwell in my country as please to return to their own country and to rebuild their city and to build the temple of God and Jerusalem on the same place where it was before. Also sent my treasurer Mithridates and Zorobabel, the governor of the Jews, that they may lay the foundations of the temple and may build it 60 cubits high, and of the same latitude, making three edifices of polished stones, and one of the wood of the country. And the same order extends to the altar, whereon they offer sacrifices to God. I require also that the expenses for these things may be given out of my revenues. Moreover, I have also sent the vessels which King Nebuchadnezzar pillaged out of the temple and have given them to Mithridates, the treasurer, and to Zorobabel, the governor of the Jews, that they may have them carried to Jerusalem and may restore them to the temple of God. Now their number is as follows: 50 chargers of gold, and 500 of silver, 40 Thericlean cups of gold, and 500 of silver, 50 basins of gold, and 500 and gold, and 500 of silver, 30 vessels of pouring the drink offerings, and 300 of silver, 30 vials of gold, and 2,400 of silver, with a thousand other large vessels. I permit them to have the same honor which they were used to have from their forefathers, as also for their small cattle and for wine and oil, 205,000 and 500 drachmae, and for wheat flour, 20,000 and 500 artabai. And I give order that these expenses shall be given them out of the tributes due from Samaria. The priests shall also offer these sacrifices according to the laws of Moses in Jerusalem, and when they offer them, they shall pray to God for the preservation of the king and of his family, that the kingdom of Persia may continue. But my will is that those who disobey these injunctions and make them void shall be hung upon a cross, and their substance brought into the king's treasury. And such was the import of this epistle. Now the number of those that came out of captivity to Jerusalem were 42,462. This is the map of Persian kingdom. In this map, Persian kingdom is shown. This is also another map of Persian and Scythians, area of Scythians or region of Scythians is also shown in this map. This is also the Persian Empire. These are the maps of the Persian Empire.